Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. Glad you're here this morning. We've got a great show lined up again. But first, our weather brought to us by Haney Technical Center at the corner of Baldwin and Highway 77. We're looking at a high today of only 86 and a low of 75. Really nice temperature we had the last couple of days. And the water temperature is getting on, staying up there. A couple of days ago, hit 88. It's still at 87 right now, so it's still, we're hitting August, and it's going to be really warm this month out in the Gulf. The river region is brought to us by Sandhill Seafood up there on Highway 77, just north of Bozeman School. Good, fresh seafood by a local restaurant. Okay, we're looking at Apalachicola, Bluntstown, right at 4 foot and a little steady drop to it, not much of a drop. And the Choctawhatchee at Caryville, it just dropped below an 8, and it's, we thought it was going to drop more yesterday, but it sort of stayed on up. And a lot of times on these river predictions, we talk about it, it changes on a daily basis, especially the Choctawhatchee, because you really can't gauge how much rain we're going to have. So it's right now, it's going to start dropping supposedly today. So it's right around 8 foot, 7.8 foot to be exact, and a little bit of drop to it. Okay, take a look at our tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn Funeral Home and Cemetery. Good strong tides today. Today is August the 2nd, and we have good tides and even greater tides this weekend. A high tide this morning at 5:57 and a low at 5:04 this afternoon. So we've got an outgoing tide all day long. All right, the wind will be coming out of north. This is interesting. Starting out of north this morning, coming out of the east, north. It's going to be north, northeast, east, and then south, and maybe even southeast. It's going to make that whole, from that system we had, made a whole turn as it gets on through out into the Gulf. And we get affected from it even that far off. All right, let's take a break. We'll be right back with our guest. Well, welcome back, and look who's here this morning, Captain Rick.
Good morning.
Glad to have you, Rick.
It's good to be here.
You been staying busy?
Yeah, fairly so. It's a little slower this year than usual, but hey, it goes through cycles.
Well, sitting here talking, we've had a couple of sponsors been with us since day one here on Panhandle Outdoors, which was 11, 12 years ago, I guess we got started, and you were one of them.
Yes.
And
I was one of the first.
We were down there doing it downtown, and now we're up here on 23rd Street.
Yep, I was there at the old commercial bank, which is now SunTrust.
Yeah. And you used to come in and have all kinds of neat stuff, and you still do. But we got some changes coming on.
Yes, we do. After 48 years as a surveyor, the 20th of August will be my anniversary. I'm going to officially retire. It's time. Don't have the health I used to have, and this heat really works on me, so it's time. Everybody reaches that point, and you might as well quit at the top of the game rather than to wait As you get older, your memory's not as good as it used to be, things of that nature. And you have to be attention to detail on this, and that's getting harder. So it's time. I got a young man that I trained, Daniel Cole. He's got his own company now, Cole and Associates, and he's going to take over. He's an excellent surveyor. He's been somewhere over 350 surveys with me now. And he is NAMS qualified, and he's also a state certified master electrician with 25 years experience. He's an ABYC across the board certified technician, and he's a member of all the things that he needs to be. He's in IME and so on. So he's got the qualifications and to do what 95% of what we do is yacht and small craft, commercial vessels under 200 tons, and he can do all of those, and he will. And he'll continue basically the idea that try to take care of the customer as best you can. Of course, we can't be, we have to stay impartial, but you don't have to be ugly when you have to state them facts.
Yeah.
He's very good with the customers too, and he is an excellent surveyor. I highly recommend him. If you need a survey in the future, you call him. And of course, we'll give you the number. It's 850-774-1899. And He was born in Apalachicola, raised down there, but he lives here, and like I say, he's known up and down here pretty well.
Well, he knows his boats. If he's
Yes,
from
he does.
Apalachicola. I know.
Yes, he does.
I know you spend a lot of time training them and all, and now he also enjoys the outdoors.
Yeah, he's a hunter.
He's a big hunter.
He's an avid hunter. Yes.
Okay, so he's got a lot of good things going for him.
Yes, he does.
So you've done it 48 years, right?
Right.
48 years.
7,880 vessels serving.
7,000.
When I finish up, I've got that. I'm not scheduling any more for me, and when I finish those and wrap up the open books that I've got right now, that's where I'll be. My father, on the other hand, did 12,121.
How in the world did they do that many?
Well, back then they didn't have to do as detail as we did. Yeah, they wrote down what was wrong with the boat, and it might be 3 or 4 pages and hand it to the master. Mm-hmm. Now, when the lawyers got in the picture, they made you write the same report,
right.
about 42 pages.
Add pages to it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They want you to say everything about the boat, whether it's good or bad. All he had to do back then when he started was just tell them what was wrong.
So that gives, if he did that many, then you did 7. You're close to 20,000.
One over 20,000.
Oh, you really?
We have 20,001 vessels done, and if you add up his years and my years, we were surveying for a total of 101 years.
Wow. And what you're talking about right there, folks, these are legendary things that's been done right here by a family in this business. It's really fascinating and amazing. It will not be done again.
No.
It just because.
Well, one thing, my dad, he was a surveyor for 56 years, but the neat part was he was the oldest and longest licensed person ever, and especially at the unlimited level. He got his license in 1925, and it was still good when he died in 2001. And he was both a chief engineer and an unlimited master. And he was the last first-class pilot for the Apalachicola, Chattahoochee, Flint River.
The last one, yeah.
He was the last one. And he brought the W.D. Callahan from Columbus, Georgia, to Appalachia and shut down the old packet boats. He was the last stern wheeler coming down that river in 1928.
The Callahan.
Callahan.
That was the last one in 1928. I wondered
Yep.
what year that was.
And
that was the last paddle.
Yep, from 1828 to 1928, that 100 years, the Apalachicola, Chattahoochee, Flint was the most important river system in the United States because of the cotton industry.
Right.
And the boll weevil liked to have wrecked everything there is what hurt them.
Mm-hmm.
But
that's a fascinating history, but he was able to, he was the last one to bring that down then.
Yeah,
That's
well, he
cool.
lied about his age and got his license at 17. He was supposed to be 19 to be able to get the license in the first place. The Coast Guard had him as being 95 when he passed away. He was 93. Yeah. But those things they did back then. He needed to move up, and they, 2 uncles that was on there told him, says, just go tell them you're 19. They won't check, and they did. And back then, it wasn't the Coast Guard back then. It was the Steamboat Inspection Service.
Okay.
Yeah. And,
that had been a fascinating trip to go up that river and down that river.
Well, there was no locks and dams.
Yeah.
It was a wild river. I mean, it's
natural.
It was natural. Everything from Columbus south, and you had to know it because you were on a fast ride sometimes.
I'll take a quick break. We'll come right back with Rick. All right, welcome back. Sitting here with Captain Rick Corley. We're talking about his swan song. He's getting announced his retirement after 48 years in this business. Before we get back to Captain Rick, I got a couple of pictures. Let's look at 3 or 4 of them. Rick, this makes a lot of sense. More money will come your way this week if you worked last week.
Yeah, that's a good philosophy.
That's pretty common, isn't it? We just okay. Here we go. Jim Lloyd out here at the district office. This is really neat, folks. A little windy on the kayak today, but still managing an inshore slam, plus a gaff top sailfish on his kayak. He got the redfish, the trout, and the flounder, all out of the kayak. That's called the inshore slam. Good job, Jim Lloyd. His lovely, sweet wife, Brooke Lloyd, is principal out there at Petronas Elementary. I love this picture here. Buck Mueller sent this in to Panama City Fishing. My son's first and second redfish. Not bad for his first and pretty little second one. He's at a state park.
Yeah.
Ain't that a great little picture?
Yeah, it is.
Catching redfish at a state park. See, you don't
tell me he didn't have a good time.
Yeah, he did. You don't have to always have a boat. They just call that right there. How about Ernie Hooper, the dentist up there? Ernie He'd been on the show before. I've showed a lot of pictures of him. He took his daughter out fishing. Sheriff Brunson Hooper sent this in. Ernie's has done real well fishing lately. He's Dennis up there in Bonifay and Chipley. Michael Harris sent this in. Braden caught another catfish. Okay.
Wonder if he tells the fish to open wide.
He may have. And one more, Aaron York. That's the folks I went quail hunting with. That's Freddie York at the bottom there. And Aaron stated, I find myself getting more excited watching the boys catch fish than catching fish myself.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's a lot of fun. And one more, St. Vincent Island shuttle.
Whoa.
This is shark, actually, this was a big shark caught, he posted a couple days ago. Down there at St. Vincent Island, I've told you about that, the sharks down there, and they battled this one a while. This was a 6-footer, but he got bit in half by a bigger shark.
Mm-hmm.
So that happens more than you think it does, folks.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about sharks yesterday with a guest, so that, okay. All right, that's enough right there now. Let's get back to Captain Rick, and looking at all these years you've done, all these boats, you've done a lot of stuff and all. What are some of your highlights looking back in your career?
Well, I started out at Camille, and that was a pretty good job. Dad
You
brought
started
me
with
in.
a bang, didn't you?
Oh yeah, it was like drinking from a fire hose.
Wow.
I had the 3 big ships that got blown up there at Gulfport, and a tug and barge that was sitting on Highway 90, and then another tug that was up in the woods north of Bay St. Louis.
Wow.
That we left there. We had to strip it and leave the hull there. It's still there today. But then I was running a research ship for the Navy and got caught in that storm that they made the movie of, The Perfect Storm.
You were in that storm?
I was in that storm. Didn't particularly like it, but I had no choice. We got into St. John's, Newfoundland to get out of it, but it took us nearly 70 hours to go 180 miles.
Oh my goodness.
It was nasty, and I didn't. After that, I decided that it was time to go shore, and that's when I really went full time in the survey business. I did it part time from '69 to '91, full time since from '91 to now, and
you're running boats all in between.
in between, yeah. I've been licensed since 1964, and at the unlimited level since '74. And been doing it a while. I started on the water with Captain Max Anderson and Walter Anderson, either decking on the old Sarah Beth or the Captain Anderson the 5 when Max ran it. And it's been good. It's been very good to me. There's a lot of wonderful people in the marine industry, and I had some of the very best that took time to teach me and train me. And of course, I wound up for one of my favorite jobs was running 35 barge tows over on the Mississippi River between St. Louis and Core Coal Terminal down at mile 55 below New Orleans. New Orleans is at mile basically 100. And it's about 1,027-mile run with 35 loaded barges. We were 7 wide, 5 long, and each barge is 195 by 35.
Wow.
Total of 67,000 tons, moving it with 10,500 horse. Sounds like a lot of horsepower, but when you figure it out, it's about 6.5 tons per horsepower.
4 horsepower, wow.
That's like putting about a horse and a half outboard on the back of your Hatteras and going fishing.
I guess those engineers and technicians had it figured out just right.
Yeah, if you've got 300 horsepower per barge, you can handle it. If you got less than that, you're not towboating, you're rafting.
Yeah.
You're trying to worry it in the direction you need it to go.
I know you were out on the water, you spent your whole life on the water and all, and with boats have been on the water and everything. Does it still fascinate you at the power and force of nature?
Yes, very much. And if you don't respect it, it'll bite you.
Yeah.
It'll get you. You can learn to deal with it, but don't you ever think you know more than Mother Nature, because she'll hand it to you.
And I guess a case in point was when you first started with Camille hit and all of that.
Yeah, the amount of destruction in that storm, and it wasn't so much wind, water. The power of water. Water's the densest substance on Earth. And when it hits something, a 10-foot wave has 1,000 pounds per square inch pressure. Well, when you double the height of that wave, you quadruple the force. In other words, it squares itself. and it's a geometric progression. It's like an upside down V that gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And a 30-foot sea like they had coming in at Camille, that one hurricane party they were having in that house, 27 people went away. There was a wave hit the house, and it just took it, and they were gone. Yeah. I mean, one wave is all it took. But there was nothing but the front steps, the concrete front steps left.
And they were used to, little hurricanes coming up and all, but that was the big one. And they talked about that. We may get one of them right here one day.
If we hadn't have gotten the cold fronts coming into the back of Opal, we'd have had the same thing here. Yeah. Opal was going to be a Category 5.
Opal was a Category 5. It sure was.
And then that cold air got sucked into it and weakened it just before it made landfall.
And it was still strong.
We were lucky. Yeah.
Take a quick break, and we'll be right back with Captain Rick. Okay, welcome back. We want to give our fishing game time today, brought to us by Blue Water Outriggers, looking at 8:45 to 10:45 a.m. And this afternoon, or this evening, from 9:09 to 11:09. And in honor of Rick's retirement, we're going to give a lucky viewer one of these rod and reels, and we're going to, I'll let you draw the name, okay? This is one of these nice rod and reels. Okay, and the winner is going to be Carolyn Yateman from Caryville. Okay, Carolyn Yateman from Caryville. All right, very good, Carolyn.
That's a beautiful rod. It's got a neat feature too. You can stick it in the ground. It's got an anchor on the butt that just screws out.
Go ahead and screw it. We talked about these before. A little bank stick and
you just take that off and that comes out.
Stick that in the ground. Yeah, and then
you turn around and put it on the top. That's cool.
So anyway, we hope you enjoy this. And also, Rick, what are you going to do with all your spare time now that you?
Well, I'm still going to be doing consulting and expert witness work, but all of the survey work I'm turning to Cole and Associates. He's earned it. He's put up with me for a few years, and when you're a teacher, sometimes you're a pretty hard taskmaster if you want him to be good. And I'm real proud. He's going to be he is a fantastic surveyor. He's got a good critical eye. And he's got so much knowledge of electricity, which is 90% of the problems on boat is electrical. Yeah. Because of the salts and air and salt water and so on. And he's very, very good. He's what I like about him is he has a good rapport with the customers, which, you have to tell some people some things. Sometimes it costs them money, and there's a diplomatic way to do it. You don't have to be just harsh about it. And he tries to do it in a nice way, and all, which, people appreciate it. They really do.
Now, what about, all the boats you've been on? What have been some of your favorite boats you've got to sort of walk around and be a part of, or launch or whatever?
Wow. Well, one of my favorite was a big yacht called Nero. It was 295 foot. It was gorgeous. I mean, just fabulous. Another one was Malcolm Forbes' boat. Was the Highlander. She was a 151 footer, and another one was Barbara Mandrell's boat.
Oh, you did Barbara Mandrell?
Yeah,
really?
Lady Encore.
What was the name of her? The Lady Encore.
Lady Encore. Yeah. And then I did Hanky Panky for Hank Williams, and did Alabama's boat when they had it here. Met some of them. I used to, Dale Robertson, if you remember him from Wells Fargo, he used to come down and go fishing with us, him, Steve McQueen, Kirby Grant. Kirby Grant was the guy that played Sky King on TV, if you remember that little series for the kids. And in fact, Kirby had come here, and he got killed in a car wreck going down 19, going to the MacDill Air Force Base air show in Tampa that year. And at that time, I was working as the chief instructor for Soil Aviation. Yeah. And he left here. He had to drive down because the weather was bad. And I don't know, somehow 19 is a terrible highway to have to drive. They call it Suicide Alley down there because you can get killed easy on it.
So that's some big names right there.
Yeah, I've had Tammy won that. I knew her from the time she was 14 till she passed away.
No kidding.
Yeah, her dad used to come down, Mr. Howard Pugh. It was her uncle, but he raised her. She considered him his dad.
Okay.
And her, when she married George Jones, they came here and stayed with us. They like staying here because we wouldn't advertise it. They could relax and be themselves rather than have to worry about, everybody poking their nose.
Well, I didn't know this myself. That's some great history. Some really well-known people there.
Oh yeah, we had a lot that come and stay at Tom Rick Motel Marina because we could keep it low key and they could enjoy themselves. And of course, if Tammy didn't have on her makeup, and you'd have an idea. Well, you look familiar, but you couldn't tell who. But she's good people. Yeah,
well, that's fascinating. And Hank Williams Jr.
Yep. The old hanky panky. He had a little 35-foot. I'm trying to remember. I think it was a Chris Craft Commander.
Okay.
And he liked to go fishing, and he would come down. He kept it at Sun Harbor.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's a few others. I don't know all.
Yeah. That's amazing how a lot of the athletes, pro athletes, and entertainers, country music, they all seem to like fishing.
They do. They like outdoors.
Yeah, they do. And
I got tickled at Barbara Mandrell. She was having trouble with them up there at Old Hickory Marina because her boat was so big that it was taking up so much space, and they started kind of saying, well, we'd like to, have those spaces to rent out, and so she bought the marina.
She bought a marina.
So she'd have a place to park her boat. So that's all the problem.
Now, do you think she still has her boat? Or?
No, she got rid of the boat, and I think the marina, when she retired, she sold all that.
Yeah. That's interesting. Well, Rick, we're going to start wrapping things up, buddy. And now, it's not the end of Rick. He's going to keep coming on and seeing us and keep us informed on what's going on with boats and all. So, but you'll be handing a lot of work over.
Well, I want to bring Dan on and introduce him at a later date and all. And, of course, eventually he'll come on and start advertising with you. You got to make a little money first.
I understand. But
if you need a survey or you hear anybody needing a survey, you either call me or you can call that number I gave you, the 774-1899.
Congratulations on 48 years, buddy.
Well, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank y'all watching.
Everybody's been wonderful.
All right, we got to get out of here. Thank y'all. God bless you.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.